Hello all. Today we'll be discussing about the maths behind k-means clustering. So I'm just going to write it down. Maths behind k-means clustering. That basically means that we'll be understanding the intuition behind k-means. So in my previous videos, in one of my videos, I have already explained you how to implement k-means clustering, which is an unsupervised technique by using scalar. And there we also discussed about something called as elbow method to find out the right value of k. So today we'll understand what is the maths behind it. Suppose now let me consider that I have a problem statement, and as I said that k-means clustering is an unsupervised machine learning technique. Unsupervised. Okay. That basically means that we don't have any output. So suppose I have some data, something like this. And let me draw it in another color, somewhere like this. Okay, I've just defined this into two colors because I know this these 2 points, these two group of points are basically in form of clusters, right? So initially it will be in one color, but after we apply k-means clustering, what the output that we will be getting is basically two group of outputs. So these two groups are nothing but two clusters. That is what k-means actually help us to do. It finds the similarity between the points and it is then able to group them into clusters. So I can call this as my cluster 1 and this is my cluster 2. And that is the thing that k-means will be doing. But to do this, we are going to discuss, first of all, what is the algorithm that is basically used. There are 5 steps of algorithm that we are going to use and to actually define my k-means clustering model. The second thing is that what metrics we'll be using. There are two metrics that we use in this. One is Euclidean distance and one is Manhattan distance. We'll be discussing that. Then the third topic that we'll be discussing is something called as what is elbow method. This elbow method will be used for selecting the k value. So let us go ahead and start the discussion. Now suppose I have a point. Okay, so I have some points like this. Okay, so what does this particular k-means clustering? What are the steps in this k-means clustering? So first step says that we have to select the k value. This k value are nothing but centroids. I'll explain you what is centroids. Just give me a second. Now suppose I consider my k value is 2 and I'll also show you how we can select this k value, how I am selecting it as 2. Whenever I have this kind of distribution, okay, by just finding the similarity between the data, how can I group them? And what should be my k value? How many centroids should I be having? If I have 2 centroids, that basically means 2 clusters. And I'll show you how to select the k value in a while. The second step that we will be doing is basically we need to initialize these 2 centroids randomly. So suppose if I initialize these 2 centroids randomly in this plane, then my data will look something like this. So let me just draw the point once again. So these are my points, right? And as I said that I'm going to initialize my 2 centroids randomly. So I have initialized 1 centroid and 1 centroid out. So initialize the centroid randomly in the plane. Okay, initializing means that I'm just initializing some points over here. The next step is basically I need to find out the distance, which are my points that are nearer to this particular centroid and which are my points that are nearer to this particular centroid. So for this, what I'll do is that I'll make this as blue color. Okay, so in order to find the distance, here we are going to use a Euclidean distance, which is called as, if we use a Euclidean distance, we will be able to find the distance, which are the points that are nearer to the blue points and which are the points that are nearer to the pink points. In order to draw it, we can just use a simple technique. Okay, I'll just draw our 2 lines over here. One straight line I'll draw like this, and the other straight line that I'll draw is like this. Now, when I draw this, whatever points I'm coming on top of this particular straight line, that will become my pink color. So let me just draw this particular thing once again. So this will become my pink color. That basically means that this is basically nearer to my pink points, right? And similarly, this blue point, this whatever points are present below this particular line, it becomes my blue points. So here you have all the blue points. Now by this, we have categorized two group of data, but still the step is not done, right? Then what we'll do is that we select the group. We select the groups, right? We select the group and find the mean value. Find the mean value, right? So when I take this pink color group, I'll find the sum of all these particular elements. I'll find the sum of all these particular elements. Similarly, for this blue statements also, what I'll do is I'll find the sum of. So when I say sum, basically I'll find the average of all these elements. Okay, average. Very important. After I find the average of these pink points, I have to move this centroid to that position. Similarly, I have to move the centroid for this particular position based on the mean value that I get. So what I'll do is that after this, I'll again draw a straight line. Now, how my data will look like? So my new centroid, suppose this is my pink point, right? And suppose my new centroid position is this one. Okay, after I moved it from here to here, similarly, my blue position will be somewhere here. Okay, and then I'll be having all my blue points. Now after this, what will happen is that again I'll create a straight line and perpendicular line like this, to find out whether any points has been moved or not. Now I'll repeat this whole step that is from the second one. Initialize the centroid. Now I have I have updated my centroid and moved the position. So I have to again find out which all points are nearer to the point again to test. When I do that, you can see that some of the pink points have moved towards blue. So this will become my blue point again. And this blue point will somewhere become like a pink point. Okay, suppose it becomes a pink point. Right? Then again, what will happen? Again, I'm having two groups. Again, the mean will be calculated. My centroid will be updated to this particular position. Similarly, this particular group will be calculated. Again, this position will be moved over here. My blue point will be moved over here. Now this step will happen. Again, I'll go and try to find out the center elements. And finally, you'll be thinking that this step will be happening unless and until we get a fixed number of groups. Okay. And no point movement will get changed. So that is my final step. As soon as I'll be able to do that, that basically means that it is giving me two clusters. And these two clusters are nothing but two groups. Right? And this is because I'm taking the k value as 2. Okay. But I have not told you how I'm selecting the k value as 2. Why I'm selecting the k value as 2. So again, to begin with, guys, see this. I'll just draw all the diagrams one by one now. Okay. So initially, this is my position. Okay. So initially my points were in black color, suppose. Okay. Now I wanted to implement a k-means clustering. Okay. In such a way that I need to group these two data. And as I told that, my next step was basically to initialize centroids initially. So this is one centroid and this is one centroid, suppose. Then after that, what I did is that I created a straight line. I divided this point. This all became pink color, right? Because these were the points nearer to the pink color. And now these were the points that became nearer to the green color. So now I have two centroids. Now what will happen is that I'll compute the mean of all these points and I'll update my point based on that particular mean. This is my centroid. So I'll update that. So in my next graph, what will happen is that I'll draw the next point. I'll draw all the pink point as it is. Okay. But my center point has now been updated to this particular point based on the mean of this value. Similarly, with respect to my green will also get updated somewhere over here, right? Because I'll find the mean. Suppose my green has come over here, now my centroid, and all the points are there. Now this step will be processed unless and until we get exact number of clusters based on the k value that I have, such that no movement of points are happening between pink and green. And once it is done, we can say that our model is ready. Our model is ready and it is able to do the classification. Now, as discussed that how I am computing the distance. I'll be calling that as an Euclidean distance. The Euclidean distance basically says that if I have a point P1, P2, P1 is represented by x1, y1, P2 is represented by x2, y2. Then Euclidean distance, that is the distance between these 2 points, is basically given by root of x2 minus x1 divided by y2 minus y1 whole square plus, right? So this is basically my formula. Okay, so this is how Euclidean distance is done. Now the next thing is that how should I select my k value? For selecting the k value, we basically have something called as elbow method. Now elbow method basically says that I will be running a loop from k is equal to 1 to 20, suppose. Okay, in k is equal to 1 to 20, that basically when my centroid is 1. Suppose now this is my point. Okay, and I'm just drawing all the points like this. So for k is equal to 1, I'll be running the whole process of k means. So that basically means that my point will get initialized somewhere here for k is equal to 1. Then what I'll do is that I'll find out the distance, that is WCSS, which is nothing but within cluster sum of square. Okay, and this is basically given by summation of I is equal to 1 to n, the distance between the centroid plus all the points. So I can write C of I plus X of I whole square. So I'll calculate the distance between all these points. And for the initially when the k is 1, our WCSS value will be very, very high. So when I just go and plot my diagram with respect to k value and with respect to WCSS value, initially when my k value is 1, my WCSS value will be also high. Then with k is equal to 2, now when I have k is equal to 2, I'll be having 2 centroids. And I'll be computing the distance for the point that belongs nearer to this particular value. So this will be my distance 1, right? All the distance to this point and all the distance to this point. So I'll calculate the sum. Okay, I'll calculate the sum. And after calculating the sum, I'll be getting all the values, right? So now for k is equal to 2, what will happen is that this WCSS value will obviously decrease because now I have 2 centroids. Similarly, when I increase my k value, my point will be getting decreased, but at a certain point it will become normalized. It will be working in a very slow manner. So how do I select this k value from this elbow method? And this is basically called as elbow method, guys. This elbow method is why it is called, because it is in the shape of elbow, our elbow. Again, I have shown you this in the practical part, guys. What I'm going to do is that once you complete this theoretical explanation, you just have to go and follow that particular practical part. Now, at this point, which value we have to select? We have to select the last value that had an abrupt decrease. Abrupt decrease basically means sudden decrease. So from here, I can find out that k is equal to 3. And again, this may not be perfectly right because I have just drawn it randomly with my hands, right? So when I say this value will become my k is equal to 3. Now, in my k means, what I'll do is that I'll select my k value as 3 and I'll start implementing. Once I'm done with this, I'll be able to group my data into 3 different categories because I've selected my k value as 3. And this is the optimal value because I've used something called as elbow method. So I hope you like this particular video, guys. Make sure that after seeing this particular video, I've already provided a link in the description for the k-means clustering algorithm, how you have to implement by using Python and sklearn. So make sure that after this particular video, you see that. And guys, if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe it. I do come up with very interesting content. And my next video will be basically making you understand about the hierarchical clustering intuition. So I'll see you up in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. Thank you all.